Hey everybody. I did a video about 4 months ago about my experience with issues on the background check from Uber. They've hired this company, Checker, that does their background checks. And so I talked a lot about what the issues were. And so this is just a short video with an update. Right after I made that video, within a couple days, nothing happened. I called in half a dozen more times, and each person, I explained what the issue was. Real simple. There was stuff on my background check from previous place that I lived that was 3,000 miles away. I had already updated Uber with my new address, given them my new driver's license, my insurance, inspection, which didn't really need to be done, I found out. And it never happened. It never did happen. I actually went back to work for the company that I had worked for previously, which I had expected that was coming. But Uber was supposed to be a fill-in in the gap that I would have. And so I got busy with them, very busy, and it never got approved. I looked at it a couple times, still pending. It was still pending background check issues. So what happened was mid-January of this year, 2022, I again I'm now off with from that job that other job that I have. I'm now off until end of May, beginning of June. So immediately I was like, crap, I could really use Uber right now. And but nothing's changed. So here's the story from what happened there. I got on the phone a couple more times, with maybe a week passing in between phone calls to customer reps with Uber, explaining the situations. And again, each time it was the same. Yes, in their broken English. Okay, give us 5 to 15 days. Every time I talk to somebody, 5 to 15 days. That's 5 to 15 days, sir. Oh, hey, sir, it's 5 to 15 days. Yeah, I heard that dozens of times after I gave them the information that they still had things on the background check that were from the wrong state. It showed the wrong zip code. It showed the zip code from where I used to live. Again, 3,000 miles away. And so here's what happened. I took a different approach. I took a different approach. Wow. Didn't take me long to learn that lesson, did it? 4 months since I did that other video, okay? So, anyways, here's what I did. I contacted Checker. And what I finally did is you have to send them a message. I think I got through once when I called, but I couldn't get through on the phone, but I could send them a reply to a background check, which is what I did. I went in and I explained the situation. I said, you guys are doing a background check, but you have information in here that I'm afraid is disqualifying me from driving with Uber, because you're checking using my old driver's license and my old zip code. And that's not going to come back as a pass, because I don't have a driver's license in the state of Arizona anymore. And so I explained this in detail to one rep that I was actually texting on Checker's, platform or whatever it was. And I explained that I had been months and months of trying to explain it to Uber, and I needed their help, and that Uber would not fix the problem without them helping me. And so I asked that they reach out on my behalf and to please contact Uber and to tell Uber that they needed to rerun a background check, because they would not do that with the new info. with the correct info. Well, long story short, Checker did that. Uber replied, "Lo and behold, there is no issue. Sorry, it's been 4 months. You know, I do this full time, and so I've been doing it now for a few weeks, and probably about a month now. Actually, I've been doing it, and I make $1,200 to $1,600 a week doing this. So I figured that was right around $16,000 that I missed out on because of very poor customer support, lack of communication, and lack of understanding basic issues. Again, lovely people. I don't typically have an issue with support teams being from a different country. I understand it. I understand why companies do it, and I normally don't have a problem with it. But I think that because because my issue wasn't in plain black and white, because something different was thrown in there, I live in a different place, and I really believe that because of the language barrier and the intricacies of understanding another language and getting the full picture of an issue, that they could not fix the issue on their own. That's unexcusable. That's unexcusable. That's on Uber's shoulders, and that's their responsibility. They have to have an effective support team that can get stuff done, basic stuff. But they didn't. Has that changed? Maybe in the last few weeks. I don't know. I kind of doubt it. I still hear that there's issues. Now there's lawyers set up that are advertising, hey, if you're having a problem with your background check, get a hold of me. Well, come on. How many people are actually going to do that? They're going to pay a lawyer, to do that, to go to that extreme. Most of us are just going to shrug, throw our hands up in the air, and go do something else. This problem can't be helping Uber. It can't be helping them. So anyways, that's a little follow-up. It didn't get solved right after that video. It is solved now, but it's only through the repeated and somewhat comical action on my part. And I mean comical because of how many times I told the story and how many times nothing was done. Nothing. That can't be. That can't be. None of us want to work for a company that doesn't have it together. Even if we can get in, we don't want to do that. So, Uber, tremendously successful. I believe it's one of the quickest companies to $1 billion that has, that in history. So huge potential, but these lagging little SOP, standard operational procedure problems. It's basic stuff that needs to be fixed. It's not a problem in the background that's a little bit that's plaguing the company a little bit. It is a glaring, in your face problem. And what makes it frustrating, and like in my case, is I hadn't had a speeding ticket in 25 years. I've never been in trouble a day in my life, ever. And so why would I be failing a background check? And to be told I can't drive for Uber because my background check failed. Well, there should be a procedure where if those are truly reviewed by a team member that is in a background check department, that they can easily pick out what the problems are. Let's see if everything lines up. Let's see if we got the right information in. Let's see if we need to resubmit to Checker. It's pretty basic stuff. But they're failing at it. So that's an issue. Now, I'm going to make a separate video on issues that I see and I know all of you face the same thing, and it's going to be nothing new, but maybe just sharing those frustrations and what I feel are some easy solutions or or some solutions that should be, that should be looked into, and something has to be done. And I'm going to talk about that. That's about, the fares, different trips that we get sent on. We go out of our way, and then, we end up getting $5 for 40 minutes of work, that type of stuff. It happens all the time. Are there good ones? There are good ones. There are good ones that seem to fall in our lap, and we get great fares and we get trips and stuff that are good. But the problem is there's way too many really bad ones, and so we are scared to hit that accept button because of what we may make, which is nothing. We may lose money, actually. I've lost money on several trips. Happens every day, actually. And that can't happen. You can't lose money on some trips and have faith that you can do this business and you can count on it being fair. So anyways, that's on my next video. Look for it. Peace out.